Digging for treasures. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Alrighty.
Austin B. Currington.
What's up, brother?
Back at it again with the Red Sox.
Red Sox. These are my hustle socks.
Oh, yeah?
Let me show you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
They say hustle on them?
Yeah.
It's dope.
Yeah, I wear them when I run hard.
Attaboy. I'm wearing my Yellowstone socks, actually.
Yellowstone National Park,
Yes.
the world's biggest. It's like a pimple for the earth.
Right.
Yeah, like a bad one. A fucking bad one.
What happens if you pop it?
Oh, dude, you don't want to know, dude. I heard that 2012, 2020
Uh-huh.
might go down. Have you been there?
No, I've never been to Yellowstone. I would really want to go. I love the great outdoors. And, yeah, I really want to get there at some point. But I haven't made my way over to, is it in Montana?
I have no idea,
I think
dude.
it's in Montana.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty far, huh? It's like in the middle of the U.S.
Yeah. Or Colorado. I think it's in the Colorado.
Colorado.
I think it's part of the Colorado Rockies.
Colorado Mountain.
Yeah.
Have you been to Colorado?
No, I haven't.
Oh, shit, dude. I want to go to Colorado because they like weed and they like snowboarding.
Yeah, and mushrooms.
Is that a big thing there, too?
They got legalized, I think. Or they're...
I heard that in Oakland they're legalized for or decriminalized or something like that.
I heard that, too.
Like here in Oakland.
I got some downstairs if you want to go
Oh, shit.
ask Mr. Police Officer. Hey,
Oh,
are these okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, is this illegal? Is this thing I have in my possession illegal, officer?
Excuse me, sir.
Okay.
Oh, that leads me to a great story. Okay, so I had been listening to Terrence McKenna for a while, and he'd be like, really what you need to do is go to a dark place in the wilderness or in a room by yourself with 5 tried grams of
Holy shit.
psilocybin and on an empty stomach and face it. Just face it. And I was like, all right. So, I'm getting myself all, mentally prepared for what I'm going to do, eventually. So, I have this homie, and I hit him up, and he has the, guy who sells the mushrooms. So, it was, a little ways away, probably, 30 minutes away from where I live. I drove out there. I'm sitting at this park waiting for the guy. Waiting for him for quite a while. I'm kind of just in my car and doodly-da. He shows up, hops in the car. We start talking. A little bit back and forth. She's like, have you done DMT? I'm like, no, I haven't done DMT.
Oh, shit.
He's like, yeah, I have that too, just to let you know.
Oh, shit. He
And
tried to upsell you.
I know, right? And we make the deal. He hands me the mushrooms. I hand him the money. He's handing me my change. Literally, as he's handing me my change, we get a knock on the window, and I turn and look, and it's police officers surrounding the car.
No.
I swear to you, bro, I've never told you this story yet. And all of my windows are down. And I literally dropped the money right where I am. And I put the mushrooms down because I thought I should try to hide them real quick. But I thought, no, that's suspicious. So I literally they're literally in plain sight. 5 grams of gnarly ass mushrooms sitting there in my cup holder in plain sight.
You're like, no, this is shiitake mushrooms.
Dude, okay, so listen. We go through the entire process.
Yeah.
Of getting pulled over. Oh, can I see your license and registration? What are you guys doing today? I was like, oh, we're just hanging out, just old friends.
Have you met this guy?
No.
Oh, hell no.
This is the
Do you think that maybe he set
drug
you
dealer,
up?
dude. Dude, hella stuff's going through my brain, right?
Dude, I would have looked at him like,
dude, hella. No, but this is his park. My homie told me this is where that he goes to
to
do
fucking set his sting operations.
Right, exactly, bro. So and the crazy thing about it too is these are undercover cops in unmarked cars.
Yeah.
And he's like, sir, do you know why I'm talking to you today or something like that, And I go, and I kept on thinking to myself, oh, what was going on in my head? Oh, had been listening to the Tao Te Ching, and it was about going with the flow, way woo way, don't fight anything.
Yeah,
So I'm just like, no, I don't know, officer, And I thought about being like, oh, is it because of the mushrooms? But I didn't want to rat myself out,
Yeah.
So I'm just like, no, officer, I don't know why. He's like, oh, it's because your tags are expired. So I'm literally sitting there, and at this time I also had a black eye.
Yeah. So you're just looking real fucking suspicious, dude.
I had a black eye because I went clubbing and I got in a mosh pit and got elbowed in the face.
Okay.
And so I'm literally talking to this cop. This cop's like, yeah, how'd you get your black eye?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, so I told him, I was like, well, I was
What
at the
city
zoo.
is this in?
This is near Pasadena. It's near LA.
Okay. Pasadena. What kind of city is that? Like, is that a nice city? Or what are the police like?
It's
in Benicia, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Was he digging?
No, dude. I thought
shit.
they were gonna ask me to search my car for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like this
Wow.
raggedy looking Mexican drug dealer, dude. There's literally loose change, like $1 bills all over the car.
Fucking drugs.
5 grams of mushrooms.
Literally
five
like a fucking,
undercover cops around the car with my windows down. Everyone's looking at me, and they're just asking me about my black eye.
Yeah.
And I literally got in my car after he's like, oh, yeah, let me just run your stuff. Literally sat there for 15 minutes. 5 cops around my car. Did not see. Dude, I was blown away. I literally drove away in my car like, and I like slowly grabbed him and like stuffed him up my sleeve even as I was driving away with a ghost of sleep. And I texted the drug dealer dude later like, dude, that was like the craziest thing of my life ever. I was like, this is how I know the universe wants me to do mushrooms.
Yeah. Oh,
you know what I mean?
Hey, it makes me think of like how much shit we put into our minds, you know?
Yeah.
Dude, it was all good, but then
Yeah.
just like the paranoia and shit.
Oh,
just
dude, I was like, dude, literally I thought to myself, my whole life's changing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in college, I got a job. Like, I thought to myself, I'm going to jail.
Yeah. In the middle of the fucking drug deal, dude.
And I ended up getting away scot-free, absolutely no problems. Tripped the next night.
Man.
It was nuts.
Fuck. So what happened? You just you did the Terrence McKenna thing? You just went by
Yeah,
yourself?
dude, by myself.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I just sat there and waited and in the darkness, meditating for like an hour, and then sure enough, dude, like waves of the ocean, that shit just crashed.
Yeah.
It sounded like when I was waiting for it, it sounded like a jet engine from it was like
He was just fucking charging up on you.
It was, dude.
Damn.
And it just unleashed. It was good though.
Yeah.
Some good takeaways. You got a piece of lint for hanging from your beard. Or was that for style?
Yeah, watch out.
Oh.
No, just like dude, yeah, I never tried that much. I only tried like a half-eighth or something.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty cool
Half
though.
eighth will get you there.
Yeah.
Get you somewhere.
It was still cool. It's kind of like weed, but then like a little bit more like mysterious and like thinking and like a little more out there. And then,
Yeah.
I remember like looking at the clouds and then like it wasn't like hallucinating, but it was like your imagination was moving way quicker. Like I could look at that cloud and be like, dude, that cloud looks like a fucking teddy bear. Like, I could see it like like my imagination was a little stronger. And then everything, it almost seemed like I was looking kind of like through, like the more it kicked in, the more it was like started to become like a filter over what I was seeing, was like more like vibrant, kind of like an Instagram filter. Like the more it kind of kicked in,
Right.
that was like all I really. But then what I liked about it is I was thinking like, I like to think about like deep shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So it just like hit that like even more. Like I was just instantly, and then like the people that I was with were like partying, we were drinking too at the same time and smoking, and they were all like, they took way more and they were all like crazy, like, ugh. But then I kind of wanted to just be like away from them because they were like kind of weird. So, and then Hank, he was feeling like the same kind of way. He dipped too. So then we went to his house, and then I was watching him make a beat. We were just cooking up.
Yeah.
And it was dope, dude. I was
You
like,
were breaking that
him.
shit down
Yeah.
hella ways in
I'm
your
just
brain.
Like, whoa. Like, and then I was listening to the music, and I could feel like the way that like, okay, it's like, you got your tempo. It's like, boom, clap. It like pushes into it. Doom, clap. Doom, clap.
You're
like
seeing all the ways that the music connected
like,
to each other and all the
you
layers.
just start thinking hella deep about it and
Yeah.
shit. So I was just sitting there watching to make it like, all right. It's like studying. That's why them dudes in, like, I guess it's really popular in Tech Valley, like Silicon Valley, to like microdose shrooms.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Fucking do some shit. Like, that's what I would want to do. Like, for me, it'd be like take a little bit of it and like try to like fucking learn some shit or something.
Absolutely.
Like, watch a
Did you
conspiracy
listen
show
to
or
that
something,
guy,
space
Naval
show.
Ravikant, that I sent you?
I think so. I think I listened to a little bit.
Yeah.
Which one was he with, Joe Rogan?
He
no?
did. Yeah, he did have a podcast with Joe Rogan, but then I also sent you a link to his podcast that he did.
Yeah.
He talks a lot about like entrepreneurship. I
Yeah.
thought there were some really cool takeaways from
He's
that.
talking about like doing more things, and you know, like you don't need to be like specialized in one thing. You kind of just do what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of had like a lot of things that I held in my mind to kind of like break him and be like, you know.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can't do that because I'm trying to do this. And,
right.
Well, most people, they do it like that. So if I got to do it like most people, and if I want to be like them, then I got to do this. And then the way that he did it when I watched that one interview, and then my coach told me to do it like this. And I can't disrespect my coach.
No.
You know? No, that's like all the... Like when you got pulled over, it was like... And I've been in the same position too. Like you get pulled over and you like don't know. You're like, all right. And then something tells you like, just play it cool. You know?
Dude, I played it so... I literally told them like 3 different stories. Dude, I was like... It was like my gift of gab had to be like on point. Like I was literally telling these police officers stories to save my life.
Like whenever I get pulled over, if it's like late night and I'm doing something, I always have I make up a girlfriend and I'm like, oh yeah, I leave my girlfriend's house. I fell asleep at my girlfriend's house.
It's
because that just seems like pretty legit. Like
okay,
like I'm not gonna fucking pull this young cat over. He's just trying to bust his balls.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it feels good. But then if I was like, and just leaving my friends, just left my friends.
Just watched a movie.
Yeah.
Who's your friend? Went in the hot tub.
Yeah, like no one's gonna ask you like, who's your girlfriend and where does your girlfriend live?
Right.
But if you, but then when the cops do it and you say like, oh, I'm just leaving my friends, they're like, oh, well, who's your friend? What were you guys doing? Oh,
right.
They start digging, you know.
Yeah.
But then if they ask about my girlfriend, I'm like, whoa, bro, like, what are you doing asking about my girlfriend, bro? But then isn't it weird, like little stuff like that, like a gift to gab? It's like weird how little stuff. But then like I was saying, like all the shit that gets in your mind, it's almost like you're talking to yourself too all day long too, and you start telling yourself shit that's fucked up. You'll be like, oh shit, I'm gonna get fucking pulled over, dude. Oh my god, is he gonna ask like, oh dude, oh fuck, dude, oh I forgot I drank a beer before I left too. Oh shit, you know, you start thinking all this shit. You're like, fuck. Or like you're riding a bike down a mountain and shit, and you're like, oh shit, I'm going a little fast. Oh shit, oh fuck, dude. Oh, it's a little extra muddy today. Oh fuck.
Right. Then you start
pulling
the brakes and you start wobbling.
But really, it's like that's poison that we're just talking to ourselves. It's like you almost gotta like fucking talk to yourself. You gotta like game yourself up. You gotta you gotta like convince yourself.
You're overthinking shit.
Yeah, you got
relax.
Just relax. You're like, you're the hardest person to argue with. You're like, and you're like, no, dude, no. You're like, no. It's like,
you need to tell him.
There's like 6
different honest.
of you. Yeah, there's like 6 different of yous at one time. Yeah, and you're just like, and then you just gotta act on one side though. On the outside, you're just that one person to the officer. Like, oh no, officer, I was just leaving my girlfriend's house. Yeah, I fell asleep there, and that's why I'm up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. You know, on Broadway Street. With marijuana all over my car. Dude, yeah, it's funny, man. Talking to people, like, is weird, dude. It's like, I don't know, like, you know, because at the end of the day, I guess you're trying to, like, express some feelings or something, or a concept. Yeah, and then I guess you're also talking to yourself.
Right. Yeah, Yeah, it's like, you're trying to explain thought, like you're trying to iterate, communicate, explain thoughts that don't actually have like verbal essences in your. But I've always thought about that too. Like, how do blind people,
or like if you've been
like,
deaf your whole life,
yeah,
or like how does a blind person like imagine something in their mind? Do they still like imagine colors and shit?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Have you ever seen the dude? He's like a cyborg. He has the thing sticking out of his head.
Third eye?
Kind of.
Yeah.
So he has like this wire sticking out of his head, and it picks up on color vibrations. So if he pointed at your wall, the little thing would vibrate in his brain. Like when he looks at that blue, it'd vibrate on it. And then a purple. And then he got so used to it being in his brain because he was colorblind before. Right? So he got so used to, so he's colorblind, can't see colors, but now he can feel them when he like looks at shit. You know what I'm saying? And then he said
that reminds me of taking an edible in 9th grade.
yeah, exactly, dude. Fuck. Shit's all weird. Like, what about the conspiracy of like, all right, back in the day, bro, but when we were like fucking hunter-gatherers or whatever, right? And like people, right? That's how all the conspiracies start. Back in the day, bro. There wasn't no shit like that, bro. Hunter-gatherers, bro. We were one with the universe. Anyways, right?
And there was no problems. We were all connected.
Yeah, that's what
all
they
connected
say.
to nature.
The only
Everything
problems
was peaceful.
we had was saber-toothed tigers back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saber-toothed tigers and cold winters was our only problems. No, but anyways, like, 2 conspiracies that I heard that I really resonated with because, you know, you kind of know me and my personality. Like, I never liked school. And they were saying that, like, once they came out with the clock and sundial, like, that was, like, a big thing. Everybody was like, whoa, I don't want a clock and sundial. Like,
right.
I'm going to come when I'm ready to come over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'll come before
midday. Yeah, you know, before I'll be there before midday. We'll get enough berries.
Right.
Don't worry about it. But then once there started being, like, a bigger civilization and someone got into power, he was like, look, I want you guys here at this time. Like, I created this little sundial, and you need to be here at 3 o'clock sharp to pick berries because we have, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a big thing, like a big a big corruption. Like,
I wonder what year that was.
Well, they don't know because, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, they didn't have calendars back then either. No, I'm just fucking with you. But then
sundials must be a pretty old invention.
Yeah. I know,
because you can just get like a stick and stick it up, and it's like a survival technique. Yeah, and like mark it with a stone, and then watch when the sun moves, and then follow the shadow and mark it with another stone.
Yeah,
and you can like mark the distance and figure out time.
Yeah, and just stick a whole bunch of those all over the fucking tribal area and get everyone to like be like, all right, at this time, at this notch,
right?
You're fucking, and think of that like. And also language. I guess language was another big thing too, whereas like, because people always say, well, how's there no language? People always had language. But then like, think about it like this, like, before, this is going to get real like spiritual, lyrical.
Well, yeah, because I'm also interested to see, I want to hear that thought, but does that connect to the Tower of Babylon? Are you going there?
I don't really know.
Tower of Babel?
I don't really know.
Okay, well, go on with that, because you're saying you were just saying it's about to get spiritual. It's about to get wild.
Yeah, so like think of like the Garden of Eden, right? Quotation marks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so before that, like let's say that before then there was no like language, right? There's no language before then, and let's get like
spoken language.
Yeah, there's no like spoken language. There's no written language either.
Okay.
Right? And then let's just say that, like, before then, I don't know what you think about, like, spiritual stuff, right? But let's just think that anything's possible and that there is
well, you do know what I think about spiritual stuff.
Yeah. So, like, let's say that back then their way of communication was more off of feeling and energies and stuff like that. So there's no written communication. And let's say that was, like, a different kind of, like, thing, right? And then language comes along, like there's the serpent, and then, you know, and
so did language come along before the serpent or after the serpent?
Let's say that the serpent introduced it, like when Adam ate the apple.
So are we adding to the Bible now?
No, I'm just saying this is like a conspiracy. This is a conspiracy.
Okay, right. You're just theorizing.
Yeah, dude, this isn't written by me, bro. This is YouTube knowledge, bro.
For sure.
Okay.
Easy.
I Googled Illuminati 6 years ago. Okay.
And then?
And now I have a bachelor's degree in YouTube Illuminati. Okay. So chill out, lizard guy. No, I'm just
a lot, lizard, you know?
Yeah, you
I'm a lot lizard.
But yeah, you know what I mean? But, all right, maybe it wasn't the serpent that
lot lizard is an inside joke, by the way.
Yeah.
Just figured we'd throw that out there because there is other people going to be listening to this, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Freaking
said at your work.
But then think about it like this, like now that there's language, now you could lie, because before language, if it was only feelings,
energy doesn't lie.
Yeah,
right.
If it was only feelings that you were communicating and vibes, you know, like when you're with someone and they're talking pretty good, but they're like, I don't know.
Feel like you feel that feeling in your gut.
Yeah. What if that's all it was?
You feel that energy.
Yeah. What if that's all it was? There was no language. You just met someone and you just like
looked at them.
Yeah. And like you
exchanged vibes.
Yeah, you know, and if our world
could do stuff, but you just exchanged vibes as you were doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if like ate food, picked berries.
Yeah, you know.
Just didn't talk.
Yeah, animals.
You were just way
talking?
more
or maybe you did
sensory.
Make noises. You're like, You know, like depending on what kind of stuff, you know, like think you can meet someone from another language, right?
Right.
And like connect with them pretty quickly.
Yeah, true.
So
absolutely.
What do you think about that? And then think once language came along, now you can lie.
Right.
Now you can lie.
Well, I mean,
lie with language.
We are animals, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think any animals quite have the communication skills. Like dolphins have really amazing communication skills,
Yeah.
right? Like language, complex language. But yeah, man, complex language definitely opens up the possibility for deception.
Yeah.
You know, to say one thing but then do another. This kind of goes back to the other conversation we had about Satan. But before I touch on Satan, Tower of Babylon.
Yeah. Go ahead and babble on about Babylon real quick.
Oh. Might just have to battle on then.
Oh, shit.
If this is a rap battle.
On. Battle on. All right, battle on, bro.
Okay, here we go. So, Tower of Babel was a point. Was it? No, it wasn't a point. It was a period of time when there was some sort of civilization, and I'm not exactly sure. I haven't read the story in a very long time, but it's in the Bible. And they tried to build a tower up to the heavens. Like they literally tried to. I don't know if it's literal or figurative, because I'm not exactly sure what book of the Bible it's in, but you have to break scripture down according to genre of the book that it's written.
Mm-hmm.
So, to make a long story short, or maybe it is a short story, they tried to build a tower up to heaven. God was like, I'm not having this. You guys aren't making it all the way up here. So in order to make it so you guys don't make it, I'm going to jumble all of your tongues. So that's where language comes from.
Yeah.
Or that's the explanation for it in the Bible.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is think about it like this. Once you have language, now you can split people up into tribes.
Right.
And now races.
Separation.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now it's like, oh, these two people, now they don't even speak the same language.
Differences,
you know?
yes.
Then they have different religions, and then it's like a way of like dividing people.
Well, I feel like language also has a lot to do with culture. Like the actual words that we say.
Yeah.
Dictate like the feelings. Like it's kind of interesting. This is a study that I learned in college. There's actually an African tribe that has 6 words for the color red, and they can't see the color blue because they literally do not have a word for it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Straight up. It's pretty wild. I forgot what tribe it is. But yeah. So it's interesting the role that language plays in actual grasp of reality.
Yeah.
Is actually pretty.
Because now you think to yourself in that language. And
right.
Stuff. Yeah.
Your brain is filtered through that language, through those words.
Yeah, it also makes me think of like how adaptive we are to our environment, to where like, you know, we think in English and stuff. But if you grew up Chinese, you would think in Chinese. That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you grew up in a community that wasn't even language? You know, how would your body adapt to that?
Yeah.
How would your brain adapt to that?
Yeah.
If the whole community didn't have, you know, and don't tell me no bullshit like, well, how are we going to get all our food and have our roadways, and how are they going to pick all the berries if they didn't have language? It's like, come on, bro. You know, people don't have like the wide enough scope of reality to be like, but we need, you know, like what if they communicated through like a complex, like vibrational language, you know, where you could just like kind of telepathic, to where it wasn't like words, like a sentence, but it was like, oh shit, I know like what he's, and you just develop that intuition.
Well, I really think that telepathy is a real thing.
Yeah.
And I think that because like there's just been so many instances where like I'll literally be thinking about like the homie, and I'll call like one of the homies, and the homie will be like, I was literally just about to text you, or literally just about to call you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think it has to do with that idea that I've heard you talk about with like how consciousness is kind of like
a field.
Like a field, and you're like, it's not that your brain is like its own little entity and it's like encapsulated inside your skull and that's it. It's more of like your brain is connected to like a plane.
Yeah.
And
like
in that
else,
plane,
just like the electricity field.
There's things happening in that plane, and it's symbiotic. Like there's things that go out and there's things that come in on that plane. You know what I mean? It's like a like a launching pad for like a airplane or something, where it's like there's incoming traffic and, you know, incoming and oncoming traffic, you know, which also makes me think of like channels, you know, like where the people say like, oh yeah, you're channeling, you're receiving a message, you know, type thing. Like I really think that telepathy, if realized, and maybe not even realized, but if cultivated, I do think you have to realize it in order to cultivate it, so that you can build your ability to be telepathic in one sense or another.
Yeah. And what about like the conspiracy of like, you know, people like our pineal gland being hardened?
I hate to interrupt you here. Conspiracy has a negative connotation, don't you think? Like people are gonna hear conspiracy and they're gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's talking about conspiracies.
He's a conspiracy theorist."
Well, these guys talking about conspiracies are just they're just so out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, think about the definition of conspiracy.
Okay, please enlighten me.
Yeah, the actual definition of conspiracy is, I'm pretty sure it's two or more people getting together to execute like a secret plan.
Okay.
Against something. So technically, by that, and I don't even know if it has to be secret, but pretty much two or more people getting together.
Kind of like the word conspire.
Yeah.
They're conspiring
together. That's where it comes from. Yeah.
Okay.
So by that definition, this is all a conspiracy, because what's a company? It's a bunch of people getting together to figure out how we can make money off people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a conspiracy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anytime that there's like a group of people or like someone, and then technically the whole Bible is like a conspiracy, because it's pretty much saying that there's like a devil and there's like a force out there that's like conspiring against you, right?
Well, the Bible was put together by, might you say,
by conspiracy
theorists. Yeah, if they're conspiring, then if according to that definition, like the Bible was literally compiled by like multiple meetings of a lot of individuals that
are like
decided what.
Theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like think about Jesus. Like, what did he do? He went around and he told people about like the Pharisees and like the Caesar or whatever at the time. You know, that's like pretty much what he did, is he'd go around and tell people about all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then so the big thing is like, once you get a word into your mind, like they made conspiracy theorist a negative connotation. You know what I'm saying? Like that was cultivated. See, they know how to like manipulate. It's like propaganda. So that if they call enough people conspiracy theorists and they put it into your brain that a conspiracy theorist is crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then he's like, oh, he's out of touch with the reality, right? That's like inserted by their do I get some more lint?
No, I'm actually just itching my chin.
Okay. So shit was getting serious. But think about it, like they can do that like propaganda, like terrorism. That guy's a terrorist. You know, and then they can pass laws like that, the Terrorism Act, where they can like lock people up if they're a terrorist and they don't have their rights and stuff if they're a terrorist. You know what I'm saying? Or like if you're a conspiracy theorist, that sounds like negative connotation. Right now, maybe they say, oh, we can't have conspiracy theorists on YouTube because there's such a negative, and people go, well, I could see that because conspiracy theorists are fucking crazy. You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take these headphones off because my ears are really sensitive.
Yeah, go ahead, dude. Whatever makes your ears feel nice. But what do you think about that, though? Like, see, that's the problem with language, is that now once you have language, you can, like, manipulate people, propaganda and stuff. Like, you know, there's all these words out there that they could use to, like, attack.
Words are a potent tool. I was literally just thinking yesterday, because I was thinking about the Bible, and, like, there's a scripture in the Bible that explains that the word, and I don't think the word, like people that are religious take that term, the word, and then make it and turn it on so that it only means the Bible, but the word is more like the spoken word. It's logos, right? Like it's a double-edged sword. Like it's used to both build up and it's used to cut down. And I think that has to do with, like, that double-edged sword has to do with the duality unfortunately, of the world that we're living in. Like, we live in a dualistic world, and it's like where we have so much potential for greatness and for growth and for joy, we have potential for downfall and hatred and deceit, terrible things, lies, conspiracies.
Conspiracy theory. I know. Think about it like this: if you do believe in like the Bible or like most conspiracy theories, it's like they always say the same thing of like humans being around and then like a external force coming and like eating the apple, And then what do you think about the stoned ape theory? Have you heard that one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then like, so what if like that goes together, like the fruit was like mushrooms or something, and we were like like a hunter gatherer type, like primitive like animal type society, and then quotation marks, God told us, or the universe told us, not to eat that mushroom until one day there was like a serpent that came down. And this is what some people believe, is that like the serpent came down and was like an external force, like an alien or something, and like manipulated our DNA as well. Like, have you heard of like the pineal gland theory?
Oh yeah, that's where I kind of cut you off, where you were going with before I asked you about the conspiracies. Go on about that.
Yeah, so like well, first we'll start off with like what the pineal gland is, and based on online research, and I'm pretty sure that, this is at least what I believe, and I know it's real, but like right in the center of your brain there's like a organ that's and like, don't you kind of feel like right now, like if I just poke you, like you're right in there, like when you're thinking, like you got your eyes and stuff, but then you feel like, don't you feel like your existence is like right in the center of your brain, like right in the center of your head, right? It's not like down here anymore.
Right.
It's not like in your chest, like you feel like I'm, like you're right.
This is
here.
where I'm most.
This is where I'm at.
Most
like,
conscious.
You can almost just be like a
alive.
head. Those little things.
Especially
that are like
through
heads.
my eyes, through these eyes, like they call your eyes like you're like another, like a brain.
Yeah,
like so there's such a direct correlation from your eye straight to your brain. It's the quickest route. And the neurons go straight back to your brain. Your pineal gland actually looks like an eyeball too.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it has like visual cortex fluid in it.
Right.
So that's why, like, when you go to sleep at night, you can literally dream and you can see all these things. And supposedly there's like little crystals in there, and like I don't know exactly how that interacts with like the field that we're out here, but then. So there's the pineal gland, and pretty much like the theory is that once we got like our pineal gland, that's what started separating us from animals, and then we can, like the whole story of the Bible, like after we ate the apple, that we could like see good and evil,
right?
And that's when like civilization
made us
started.
More conscious, self-aware.
Yeah, it was like conscious.
Yeah,
and then even if you look in history, it was like, boom, civilization, boom.
Yeah, it kind of sprang up out of nowhere.
And if you look at it, we're almost like the same even from back then, even though we got like iPhones and cars and stuff. Like ever since that moment, boom, it was like exactly the same. We had like a, whether it was a democracy or a dictatorship or whatever it is, we had like a civilization, and we had currencies, and we were into philosophy, and we had art. For the most part, it was
gods.
it was like it's really the same as today, but just like a little bit different. We have more technology now.
Right.
But then even then, like, so yeah, that's like the theory is that like, and then what the conspiracy theorists believe is that like those people, like the snake was like a entity, and that they taught us language, they taught us war, they taught us like alchemy, they taught us all these things.
Right.
And then I don't know.
Kind of like King Akhenaten. Is it Akhenaten, the Egyptian?
Yeah, there's each
god,
each
or
religion.
pharaoh?
Yeah, each religion has like a different name, but they're all like the same. Even Christianity, you have like different characters like Lucifer and this person and that person.
Melchizedek's actually an interesting character in the Bible. Many people, even Bible scholars, believe that he could have been a Messiah. Yeah, that he could have been a Christ, like before Jesus actually came.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he a lot of them think that.
Yeah, and then I always wonder like if it's a real physical being that like comes over here, whether it's like from a different dimension and they like come over here, or whether it's like some weird, like, this is going to get crazy, but it's like some weird like waveform information that like an energy that like comes in through our consciousness and like
kind of like that plane that we were talking about earlier. like how our thoughts operate on planes, possibly.
Yeah,
but
maybe
if
it's operating more in that plane. Like
right.
That's their
like
plane
an infiltration of.
Yeah, like so as soon as we were able to get.
Could that be like what prayers are?
Yeah,
like an
like
extension of a plane of thought, of reality, of
like
being,
maybe
of
like
understanding.
Yeah, maybe they're in the plane of like consciousness and stuff like that.
And
like,
they're their spirit.
Yeah, and that's where they are. And then think about it like this. If that is true, like there's a plane of consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And everyone in the world is connected to it, and then something exists in that realm, what's the difference of it existing in the physical realm or in that realm? Because we're all seeing it and all decoding. It's all about decoding waveform information. It's not about what's actually like physical. It's about what you can decode, because there's like a Wi-Fi rays out here in the world. Oh God,
I
right?
hear them all the time. They piss me off, dude. That's what makes me want to get out in the woods so bad. Yeah. Because like, and sometimes I'll ask people, "Do you hear that?" Even at work, I hear.
Yeah. There's all types of shit out there.
Do you hear that? Sometimes a loud one will hit me. I'm like,
yeah. So think about it. Like, there's tons of Wi-Fi rays out here.
Everywhere. There's like 20.
But you can't decode those. Like, you can't decode them. Your computer over there has a device to decode that kind of information.
Right.
You can decode most colors, but you can't decode all colors. You can't decode infrared.
Right.
But a snake, I'm pretty sure, can like decode infrared, right?
Yeah.
So there's all these frequencies out here that you can't decode, but then like maybe you can, maybe there's like a conscious one that you can decode, right?
Yeah.
But then maybe like you know, not all the way or something, or like maybe if your pineal gland is like not working right or something, or you're not tapped into it, maybe it's like, you know.
Yeah.
And then think about it like this, bro. Like, what if they gave you some sort of drug that deactivated, like, that attacked that organ?
Yeah.
Like, and what if everybody in America was on that drug because it was like fluoride in the water, or so it was something that was just so prevalent that it was like, right? And then now that you have that, you can't even see things in the conscious realm anymore.
Right.
So now when they talk about stuff, you're fucking crazy. And maybe some people will see, maybe something could come down in San Francisco and only some people could see it or something. And then like now, once you start thinking like that, of like waveform information and like breaking it down,
the ability
like,
to break down code.
Shit's not really that different, you know. It's like you can't pick up on Wi-Fi. You can't pick up a radio wave with your brain, but you can build a device that does, right?
Right.
So it's like, what's so crazy to think that your brain, because when you go to sleep at night and you dream, what the fuck is that, you know? And then you know. Ooh. So then now that I think like that, I think I have like a kind of an understanding of like, oh shit, like. And then I watched this one conspiracy video where I learned a lot of this stuff, and the guy was talking about how every like vaccines, that once you had the vaccine, you couldn't see like the spiritual beings anymore.
Dude, I was literally talking about that with one of my coworkers today. Yeah. Like, when we're kids growing up, we don't have a choice whether we get shots or not. To go to school, we have to get shots. Yeah. Because this dude at my work got a flu shot, and it literally like made like half of his body and his arm numb, and he can't move. Yeah, it's been like that for weeks because of a flu shot, and he can't even come to work anymore.
Yeah, dude. And then they scare us with stuff like coronavirus. Oh, you got to get your vaccines. Oh. Right. And then think about it like this, like, what if that is true, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these vaccines, like, what if me and you, is like spiritual as we are and stuff? Yeah. What if we've been drugged, like, from birth, and we don't even know what if we're like something, we're like that dude up there on your picture on your wall. That's for those of you who can't see the picture, he's just floating in space. He's like an imagination.
Bro, that's AB. So my roommate and I in college, we kind of made that character our deity. Oh, yeah. And we named him Alien Bob.
Alien Bob. Yeah. I like that.
Because you can see, like, he's way out there in space, like, in a bed. Like those of you watching, you can't see this, but maybe in the intro or something, I'll try to put it on there. But yeah, dude, AB, he's there's around
AB.
There's like
my
his
boy.
attributes are around the edge: courage, strength, power, Korean Jesus, Lil Mayo. Lil Mayo.
Hell yeah.
He's out there. He's a god of all gods. AB. Yeah. And then my new deity on my wall is Lord Gooey, who's the frog in the center there.
Hell yeah.
We love to attribute deity with vision and sight.
Oh yeah.
So that's why I think he's the most godlike, because his eyes are like 50% of his body.
Hell yeah.
Just about. No, it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but
Yeah, dude. But what if you're like that? Like, what if you're like a deity and there's way more to this than we know? But then they just like locked us down onto like a certain kind of frequency band. But then really there's like this way more like to experience. Like, have you ever just like closed your eyes and just kind of or maybe you felt like this like before, like it's almost like that picture of that dude. Like some nights I'll lay there, you can close your eyes and you just let your mind go and it'll be like you could just see like colors. You could be flying through fucking space. Like, what if really, dude, we're way...
Damn, what are you smoking?
Huh? Smoking dope. No, dude, not even when I smoke weed. Hey, tell me why when I quit smoking weed and those dreams come back in, it'll get even worse when I quit smoking. If anything, the weed will kind of like mellow you out a little bit. I think like what weed does is it kind of brings on a little bit of that feeling in the daytime. But then really, though, if you don't smoke weed, it'll come on a little bit stronger when you go to sleep, which is probably better for you. Yeah. But I still get my dreams, though, because I smoke so much weed that it wears off, like, within an hour or two of sleeping.
Yeah.
And then they come back. But that's why I like when you drink a lot, it deactivates your dreams when you go to sleep. But if if you sleep in long enough, right? It's going to come back right before you wake up in the morning because about 6 hours of the alcohol wearing off, of you not dreaming for 6 hours. Then those last 2 hours, your body's like, oh shit, I need to get my REM sleep in, and it fucking hits you hard. So when you drink, you'll have crazier dreams because you're actually not getting good sleep for the first couple hours. Same thing with weed too, but weed doesn't last as long as it, so it like wears off, and then it comes back harder. Like kind of like if you haven't slept in like 2 days, the dreams will start creeping into your real life environment because you need that REM sleep. You need that like.
What do you mean by the dreams will start creeping into your real life environment? You mean like that?
You'll get a little trippy, you know. If you stay up for too long, you start to
get kind of goofy.
If you stay up late long enough, you'll start hallucinating. If you stay up late, I don't think you could. You'd probably gotta have like something weird happen to you to get that deep. I think the normal person would just fall asleep.
I've hallucinated before off lack of sleep. It was actually like my parents are super like fanatically religious, and we were going to this conference, this big like minister preacher conference thing for like a week straight, dude. And we would literally go from like, we'd be there from like 4 a.m. and we'd leave at like 1 a.m. And so there was like 4 days straight where I had like 2 or 3 hours of sleep. And on that 4th day, dude, I literally got up out of bed and everything was like
yeah, you're like a little dreamy, dude. You're just
like literally everything was like lagging and like chunking, and I was like, I really was deeply hallucinating for like a couple of minutes.
Hell yeah.
Pretty wild.
But yeah, it's weird that you need like that unconscious like creativity and like what is that word for it, of like just in the nothingness of like possibility and like, you know,
I do think like you need that.
And I think that's like, well, like what I actually think about like what God is, quotation marks, is it's not actually a physical being. I think it's actually like empty space, like negative space is almost like God, because that's like the space where it's like anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Infinite possibilities. It's like once you get negative space, and I think that's what your brain like kind of needs to tap into when you go to sleep. It's just like, you know, let me just
nothingness.
Yeah, it's like nothingness is almost like.
Well, that's what I love so much about meditation. I got into like Kundalini yoga and stuff for a while, and man, when you just get in such a deep place of like meditation and like space, like that's the best way I can describe it, is like you literally clear out all the space in your brain, and all the space, like you clear all your chakras, you know, all of your energy centers just get clear. Like instead of being like rushing and moving and swirling with all these thoughts and anxieties and fears and urges and desires, it's like all of a sudden like the lake is now crystal pristine clear, and just like they're just the most pure things come from that place. And like
just like a blank piece of paper, or like a piece of paper with a grid on it. Oh, that's nice.
I actually think that's how I started to be so creative, because like growing up, like when you know this, I spent time in 2 houses. Well, my dad's house, I really didn't, like, they didn't give me a lot of stuff to do. Like, I could barely watch TV. So I was kind of like, I would literally sit in my room and stare at the wall.
Yeah.
So I had to figure out something to do, or else I would just be sitting there blank, looking at the wall. So I would write, I would draw, and this is I think this is worth saying, actually really worth saying. For a long time I believed I couldn't draw.
Yeah.
And so probably about a year ago I decided, and I think you mentioned this earlier too, with about how you talk to yourself and tell yourself stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I think our self-talk's also really important too, right? And I kept on telling myself, I can't draw. And I believed this lie. That was a question I wanted to ask you earlier too, about lies that you
yeah,
believe.
you like tell yourself lies.
Dude, I
or
told
other people
myself,
like put it into there.
or other people,
like,
and then you believe it, and then you believe it, and then you reinforce it.
Yeah.
Even if,
like, what's his name didn't like my drawing.
Right,
dude.
right. Oh, I must not be able to draw.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And so, but it was about a year ago that I decided, you know what? I can draw. I can draw a tree. And I can draw a tree damn all right.
Hell yeah.
So I'm going to start drawing me some trees.
Drawing some motherfucking trees,
Man.
dude.
And I started drawing trees, and I would just sit there and draw trees, doodle. Every once in a while, I'll pull out a nice piece of paper, draw a nice little tree. Actually, I'm probably going to grab one of my drawings, my pictures right here, if you don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And then my thing is, like, once you put that stuff up in there, it's like, what's the even point of even having the negative up in there? It's just like, but it's hard though, dude. Like, fuck. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe like the devil is inside us and we're just lying to ourselves all the time.
I think that's a good point.
And he loves that. He fucking jerks off to that. There goes Michael's painting. Sorry to talk about jerking off when you pulled up your painting.
Yeah, this is wildly appropriate.
Let me see.
Because I'm sure it is very appealing. And
wow, dude.
Yeah, it's not bad, huh?
Not bad.
That's less than a year after I decided to tell myself I can draw. This was during the phase of, like, after I just finally discovered, like, oh, I think I can draw. I can draw. I'm gonna choose to do it.
Hell yeah.
This one's pretty fun too.
Cool. Nice drawing. This will be our thumbnail. Hey. Oh. Hell yeah. We'll keep on drawing, bro.
Yeah. Oh, and then this one's pretty cool too, because it's funny. There's actually, have a look at that.
I do the best I can where I am with what I got and put myself out there.
See what those are?
Little trees, broccoli, mushrooms.
Ah.
Broccoli mushrooms?
Mushrooms.
In a UFO.
There's a UFO.
Did you see a UFO when you took mushrooms?
It wasn't a real one in an actual physical realm. It was more of like this robot looking dude on like a bicycle that was inverted. That was one of the, like,
You're lying.
No, I swear.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
It was like a machine dude on like some like bicycle. The bicycle was like.
You seen the machine elves?
It wasn't a machine elf. No, I know you've heard about those, but it was one of them. How do you know? One dude. I don't think he might have been. How
do you know he didn't lie to you?
Oh man.
How do you know?
I don't.
So you're telling me that you took a hallucinogen. You know about the machine elves, and you see a machine.
I had heard about
and
the
you
machine
see
elves.
Okay, right? And then you see a machine guy, and then he's not part of the machine elves.
Well, he didn't have pointy ears.
Is that what he told you?
Oh,
he's like, I don't have pointy ears. I'm not part of the machine elves, dude. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Well, he was riding a bike. Machine elves ride bikes. Dude. Inverted bicycles.
See, now you brought it up, bro. Now we got to talk about the machine elves. Even Joe Rogan said he'd
seen them.
He had like felt them or something, like a different entity.
There's a lot of different shit out there when you're that deep in shrooms. You can sense, like, you're talking about the energies. You can sense a lot of different, like, energies, and like some of the energies you come in contact with are so interesting.
Yeah.
So intriguing. Like, whoa. Whoa, you're there. Like.
Yeah, it's just like a little swirly.
Well, yeah, one of them, dude. I felt like an intense, like feminine energy actually, and it reminded me, like, the best way I can describe it is like a vagina mango snake.
Oh shit.
Yeah, just whirling, twirling, spinning.
I've had a vagina mango snake break my fucking heart before, dude. A couple of them, dude. Fucking sent me over the edge, dude.
Yep, that feminine energy is pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty wild.
But what do you think about that, dude? Like, those type of things.
Machine elves or...
Yeah, just like the whole type of thing.
I'm open to the sum of infinite possibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, like I said, I don't know. But I'm always open to exploring, and I mean, even if they are real, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if one of them wants to come download some knowledge or tell me some dope shit or tell me a story but like Terrence McKenna would get into it with the machine elves, dude.
What would he say about that?
I don't know. He would talk to them and stuff and ask them questions or ask the mushrooms questions and all that stuff. And
yeah.
You know, I think as long as it's constructive, it's building, it's moving us forward, then I'm down with it. But then again, like you're saying, like, and this is something that I don't know, I'm kind of indifferent about, but it's like, how do you know they're not lying? Well, energy doesn't lie. Like we were saying before, right? I think that's the biggest key. Energy doesn't lie. So, you know, when you're sensing the world on an energy basis, you know, it's pretty... right and wrong becomes different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something may seem wrong, it may look wrong, right? But it feels right from that energetic place. But then something may feel right. You know what I mean? And look wrong. You know, it's like things can be jumbled and mixed, but at the end of the day, like I said, I think it boils down to energy.
Yeah, just like how you feel. What do you think about like have you seen Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
Do you remember like
Wanda?
Do you remember
Cosmo?
Yeah, do you remember like the gray elves that were in that show?
Yeah,
they had like their own little universe. They were really boring and they talked like this and they just...
Wouldn't they paint the dew on the grass in the mornings, or was that a different elf?
That was a different one.
Oh, okay.
These are they called them like the gray elves, or like remember they were like really boring and they came from the little pixel, like the place of
it was bleak and bland.
Yeah, it was bland. It was gray, and
gray.
They were all about like finance and business and like companies, and they talked really like slow like this, and then
like all the guys at your work.
yeah, right, like corporate guys, right?
Yeah.
And then so think about it like this. That kind of lines up with the conspiracy that Alex Jones was talking about, or some other people talk about, where they say that at the highest levels of these big tech companies, that they're taking like large amounts of DMT, like I'm talking like crazy amounts, like maybe even not even DMT, like maybe something different, and that some of them even do like rituals and like weird stuff to like summon entity that, you know, helps them build stuff. And like think about how that lines up with that you know, and like how we come out with inventions and stuff like that. Like even like Tesla talks about, like,
even if you did go way out there on DMT, how you gonna remember it when you get back?
yeah, right. Or like maybe you go out there and you contact something, and then when you come back, you have like this kind of like, I don't know. But I mean, what do you think about that? Like, do you think that something could be going on like that in Silicon Valley, where at the deepest level of it, they're connected to an interdimensional force that's bringing in a lot of this like information, like at the deepest level of big tech and shit? Or do you think it's just like how it seems, where it's just like, well, we're just companies and we just go to work? Or do you think there's like an interconnection between like spirituality, this earth, like, and what we're actually experiencing? You know how like a lot of people think like, okay, I'm going to go to church, I'm going to learn about spirituality, I'm going to have my spiritual life. But then, you know, there's the actual reality out here, which is just like, you know, that's just the actual real world out here, you know, and then just, you know, and they kind of split it. Or, you know, they think I'm a conspiracy theorist because I'm saying, no, this is the real world. You think Google's not connected into this like spirituality? What if like the highest levels, like, because that's what a lot of these conspiracy theorists think, that at the highest levels of these like religions and companies and like stuff, they're literally connecting with like the force, just like the Bible.
Dude, I mean, honestly, I think like the world's kind of like Lord of the Rings in that aspect. And I think it's possible. I'm not saying I believe it, but I'm saying it's very possible, and that it's kind of like Lord of the Rings, where the light side does that, channels, gets things from the light, and we have our gods, you know, our light gods that that are pioneering, and our prophets that are, sharing truth and light and life. But then we also have like the Dark Lord, that is just corrupt beyond imagination, who has his pawns, that goes out there and is comes to deceive and steal and manipulate,
and like feed off you like cattle,
and just destroy and reap, and not sow good oats and seeds, but just burn forests and and create species that can't stand the light and live in the darkness, and by that I'm talking metaphorically, so I think that's I love Lord of the Rings. It's a beautiful representation, I think, of Middle Earth, which Earth is kind of a middle ground, which is why I like that R.J.R. Tolkien named it Middle Earth.
What was I gonna say on a side note?
That you're Frodo?
Frodo. But with that being said, like, I do think it is kind of like a real world, like, we're actually in it, than like just kind of, the way they make it seem at like church and stuff like that. Yeah. But then also, where is that going with this? Talking about Lord of the Rings.
Silicon Valley, highest levels of society.
Silicon Valley.
Tech companies.
So like with good energies too, is I think like like a bad energy can feed off of stuff like they're predatorial, But then it's like if there's a good energy out there, which I think you can tap into, like why would they be over here like manipulating and stuff like that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what would their purpose be like? So that's kind of what I think of too, and that's what I get like from a lot of these conspiracies is like maybe you can definitely probably reach out for help to like a good energy or try to tap into like a positive force, but then like for a lot of it, for the most part, if you're just willy-nilly and in the forest, like a predatorial lion might come devour you or something. Fuck, dude. Yeah, the world is like a just big old forest, of like energies, and like it's just like the real world, but just decoded information waves.
I liked the analysis you had.
Yeah.
Codes. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. It's kind of like, I don't know, like the Matrix or something. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
Well, living in the Matrix, I think that's a good way to kind of...
You think that's a good way to end it?
End it. Living in the Matrix.
Yep.
That can be the title of this video.
Yeah, we'll have all the thumbnails. Oh, coronavirus. This, that. Oh, trending.
Lord of the Rings.
Trending topics.
J.R.R. Tolkien. Oh, that's definitely going to steer people away.
Yeah.
Except for the Lord of the Rings fans.
Yeah. Woo!
Hey.
I want to say the last word.
And the... Oh.
No.
Yes.
No.
Maybe so.
Fuck.
Let's do an intro real quick.
All right.
Welcome to a podcast with Mike Mitch
and Austin B. Currington. Oh shit! Check this. Oh.
Pine cone.
The pine cone pineal gland.
Chapato.
Oh shit.
We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get into that today.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
into. Kind of looks like the universe, the pineal gland.
A lot of stuff. Check it out.
Yeah.
And then we'll do an outro.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Yep. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Or don't.
Or don't hit it.
You won't.
No, you better freaking hit that thing.
Like it.
Like it. Subscribe it. Share it.
Comment it.
Comment on it. Let's ask a question.
Okay.
Do you think... Wait, what's the question?
What are some conspiracies that are worth looking into?
Okay.
I don't know. You talked about conspiracies a lot today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about conspiracies in the comment section.
All right.
Peace
out.
Blessings.
Yeah.
And love.
Yes.
This video was brought to you by a revolutionary mindset where we believe that to change yourself is to change the world. To change the world is to change yourself.
Hell yeah.
All right. Okay.
Oh, shit.